Okay, today we're going to do a real quick video on introduction to JavaScript and PHP. This isn't even going to be an introduction exactly, it's just going to show you a couple things they can do, just an introduction to the ideas. In the next video, we'll start our JavaScript unit, and then we'll do a PHP unit. So those are going to be pretty awesome. But real quick, if you don't know what JavaScript and PHP are, or if you've heard of them but you don't really know the difference or anything like that, this is the video. So far content has been static that we've done in our tutorials. You know, we've done HTML, we've done CSS, but it doesn't change after page load. You know, like a clock would change on the web page, or a banner would slide, or a form would process, or you know, stock data, it changes in real time, anything like that. We haven't done anything like that yet, and that's because you can't do that in regular HTML and old school CSS. New CSS3, you can do animations and stuff, and we'll get into all that. And HTML5, you could do all kinds of stuff that changes, Canvas and stuff. But even with Canvas, you need to do JavaScript. So what is JavaScript? What is PHP? Both of them are scripting languages. The difference between a scripting language and a regular programming language is a little bit hazy, it's a little nebulous, but in general people think of scripting languages as a little b+bit lighter, a little bit easier, a little bit simpler, and real programming languages would be considered stuff like C, C++, C#, Python, Rails, you know, or Ruby or whatever, any of those kind of stuff. So let's get into it. The difference between JavaScript and PHP. JavaScript is front end and PHP is back end. This is just the sketchy intro. JavaScript can be used for back end, stuff like Node.js, but in general, at least in front-end development, we'll be using JavaScript for front-end stuff, and PHP is more back-end. So JavaScript is always processed in the way we're using it. Is always processed in the browser, and so that means like the user loads up the page, and then the JavaScript fires. So if it's a clock that's updating in real time, you know, the JavaScript will update the clock. If there's a banner animating, JavaScript can animate the banner. JavaScript can do all that kind of stuff. PHP is processed on the server before the user gets the HTML, the end content. So if PHP is written properly, the user can't tell what your PHP code is. They can see the output of the PHP code, but they can't get your PHP code. So that's why PHP is considered backend. So I'll show you a couple quick examples, or one of each actually. So here's a little JavaScript thing. So this is a regular HTML file, real simple, the kind of stuff we've done so far. Now here in the head I have a script tag, and then I have a one-line JavaScript thing. It just says alert hi. You can also link to your JavaScripts in the head, so you can link to an external file that would be like something.js. In this case, we're just writing it in the head. You'll also see inline JavaScript. That's kind of old school, and I believe we're supposed to stay away from that nowadays. So here's a little embedded JavaScript, and when we refresh the page, it's just going to throw a little alert box. That's what this is called. It's a little pop-up. There's little annoying pop-ups, and it says hi. So this isn't super useful. It'd be annoying, but it is an example of something that you can't do in regular old school HTML and CSS. Okay, PHP. Similarly, we have a file here. It looks pretty much the same, except here's a little one line of PHP. Notice that the file ends in PHP. Your file will have to end in PHP to run PHP code. And now that you know about it, you'll see some websites and the files will end in PHP. Also, my JavaScript file is just sitting on my desktop here. But my PHP file is not. It's sitting in like C, well, it's sitting in like C, XAMPP, htdocs. And what is XAMPP? I'll show you real quick. We'll get into XAMPP in another one. But the point is that you have to be running something on your local computer in order to process PHP. If I turn XAMPP off, this page is just going to be blank or something like that when I load it, my PHP page. So PHP is something that's processed on the server. So if you're like running nearly free speech, it'll have PHP running on that server in the background, so you can use PHP. But if you get a shared host server that's not running PHP, you wouldn't be able to run a PHP file. All regular servers, shared hosts, web hosts, run PHP. I'm sure you could find plenty of examples, but actually I've never run into one yet. PHP is super common on a LAMP stack. Well, it's part of the LAMP stack. So if I refresh my PHP test page, it's going to give us a random number. So there, 14. If I refresh it again, it's going to give me 14 again. If I refresh it, it gives me 12. Give me 15 that time. So what we're getting here is a random number between 5 and 15. So what is this weird line here? So PHP scripts usually open in this left angle bracket question mark PHP that just says, hey, there's PHP coming, and then they end in this question mark right angle bracket that says, hey, the PHP is done. And then this stuff gets processed, whatever's inside the PHP tags. So echo just means print. It just means print to the screen. And rand is a random number function in PHP, and this is just these parameters are the values we're inputting to the rand function. It's saying, hey, just give me a random number between 5 and 15. So that's just a quick intro to JavaScript and PHP, and a quick intro to like what front end and back end stuff is. And I'm pretty amped to start the JavaScript unit in the next video.